See him play. I still say you'll make the first 12.
That's what I like, confidence.
See you, Pete.
Okay, thank you, Jim. All right, so Spaulding loses it. Exeter wins it 4-2, and the Red Raiders drop to 2-4 on the season. Next up for us on Channel 3 will be the Londonderry game under the lights, or the Pinkerton game under the lights on May the 5th. Once again, Exeter 4, Spaulding 2. For Jim Fabiano, I'm Pete Barker. Good night. Kevin Conley is joining me tonight for the color analysis of this game between the Spaulding High Red Raiders and the Dover High Green Wave. Class L baseball here under the lights at Spaulding Field. And with the imminent threat of rain, Kevin, hopefully they can get this game in here tonight, a game that Spaulding really needs. They're 4-6, whereas the Dover Green Wave are 9-3, and we're unofficially coming into this week in third place. So the Red Raiders want to get back at the 1-0 loss that they had down at Dover back in April 26, and they're going to send Guy Donnelly to the mound against Tim Sawyer of the Dover Green Wave. It's, we said, a coolish evening here, and the threat of rain is definitely imminent, but do you think that will change the strategy of this ball game any?
Well, I think both teams want to get on the board first because they know a couple runs will be able to win this ball game, and then there's always the threat of maybe getting canceled early, so they're not going to want to fall behind due to the weather. And Dover's had a good season, as you said, a little bit of a surprise to some people. They weren't expected to do as well, and Spaulding's been a little slow getting out of the gates, lost a couple one-run ball games, and they're going to see what they can do tonight.
The Raiders, as we were talking about just before we went on the air, as you see head coach Hugo Boland doing the infield out there, had lost, of their 6 losses, they had lost their opener to Exeter 5-4. Then they came back and lost 2-1 to Concord before defeating Portsmouth and Winnicott by, I think it was 14-5 and 9-3 scores. Then they lost 1-0 to Dover and 4-2 to Exeter, and that sort of put them back again. They did win, I believe, 1-0 over Alverin, so it proved they can win that game. And the one thing that Coach Hugo Boland would like to get is just more consistent hitting. He's had the pitching. They lost to Pinkerton also, and then came back with a good win over a Londonderry team in their last outing, as Brian Callahan went all the way in that one. So talking with them before the game, I think Coach Hugo Boland feels they need somewhere around 9 or 10 wins to get into the tournament. That's usually what has gotten people into one of the last tournament spots.
Yeah, that's what they'll be shooting for, the 10 wins. That's what they want to get, and they're capable of putting some strings together and winning 4 or 5 games in a row, and that's what they need right now.
All right, we'll be back with the start of the Dover Spaulding game here at Spaulding Field in Rochester right after this.
Visit Tri-City Masonry, Route 16 in Somersworth, and see how much we've grown. Our new showroom has a complete line of floor and wall tile, as well as all sizes of PVC and culvert pipe, plus much more. Tri-City Masonry also offers all kinds of equipment and utensils for your building needs, and their friendly staff is on hand to provide key assistance and a great deal of handy advice. Outside in the yard, you can see the stock on hand: PVC pipe, stone for walls or veneer, cement blocks for any building requirement you may have, plus a warehouse full of brick. For all your building needs and supplies and equipment, visit Tri-City Masonry, Route 16, Somersworth.
We're ready to start this ball game between the Spaulding Red Raiders and the Dover High Green Wave here at Spaulding Field. I'm Pete Barker along with Kevin Connolly, and we're starting a little bit early in hopes to beat the rain. And Jeff Pierce, the shortstop, the leadoff batter, is home plate umpire of the Paul Cotera, calls the first pitch a strike. Pierce is going to be the first batter up, and he hits a ground ball single to right field. So Jeff Pierce, the shortstop, leads it off for the Dover Green Wave. He'll be followed, and coming up next, Tim Sawyer, the pitcher, number 23, and Mike Lawson, the center fielder, number 24, the first 3 batters to face Guy Donnelly, the left-hander for the Red Raiders.
Pierce did a nice job of going with that pitch. Donnelly has good control. Went to the outside corner first time, and he went there again, and Pierce did a nice job of shooting it through the hole.
Take a look at the rest of the lineup with Craig Burley, the catcher, will bat cleanup. John Blaine will be the DH for the first baseman, Dan Waterhouse. Greg Morginis is the left fielder. Chris Mangum at second. Steve Meserve in right. And Dana Estes will be the third baseman. pitch coming inside for a ball. As we said, the Green Wave 9-3, an excellent season. Just had a 6-game winning streak snapped by Trinity, losing it 6-4. After starting off 3-0, they lost 2. Swing and a miss, throw down to first. And he's out. They caught him. Frank Du Bois makes the call as Pierce a little bit late getting back to first, Kevin, and he's out, and that snuffs out a potential big inning right there at the moment anyway.
It's a nice job by Kropp behind the plate. He didn't hesitate at all, got the throw, and I think Pierce was shielded a little bit by Sawyer there in the batter's box there on the left side, and he just nailed him.
And there goes a little blooper out to shot. Jamie Keefe handling it easily for out number 2. So Pierce gets on, but he gets picked off. And there's 2 down with Mike Lawson. The third hitter having an excellent season for the Dover High Green Wave. As we said, the Green Wave, 5 wins all of last year. Come into this game with a 9-3 record. Certainly a pleasant surprise for Coach Jack Gordon in his 4th year. And a lot of pleasant surprises around, basically because these teams really didn't have a good preseason. They were inside most of the time, and I'm surprised at some of the scores. Most of the scores have been very competitive, Kevin.
They have, both teams have been in every one of their ball games. They haven't been getting blown out, and you look at Spaulding's record, it can be a little deceiving. 4-6 as they've been in most of their ball games, and Dover's just been able to come on top with more of theirs than Spaulding has.
Swing and a miss on a pitch a little bit high for a strike. 0-2, Donnelly ahead of the count here in the top of the first inning. No score, Dover and Spaulding. Dover owes a 1-0 win, and back on 26 when Chris Brooks threw a 2-hitter pitch coming inside. Only trying to get him looking for a breaking pitch that time. The Raiders, we said, at 4-6, and the Green Wave at 9-3. Last year at this time, the teams were at the other end of the spectrum, popped up in foul territory. Cropper tried to get a beat on it and just never quite handled it, Kevin.
It's a tough ball right there. That was hit pretty well up into the sky, and we got these gray skies. It could be hard to pick up the ball. He was under a little bit, but it just tailed back into the playing surface, towards the playing surface, and had a little trouble there.
Because we will have to keep mentioning that we certainly hope that the weatherman stays away for a couple of hours. And then it can pour like crazy. But Barry Scanlon of Foster's Daily Democrat is doing his best. Well, I don't know. He has mixed feelings, I guess. But he'll do his best for us. There's a line into third, grabbed by Panelides. That ends the top of the first inning. 1 hit for the Green Wave, but no runners left. There was a man picked off. And as we go to the bottom of the first, no score between Dover and Spaulding.
Tri-City Car Wash Centers, with locations in Rochester, Somersworth, and now on Central Avenue in Dover, offering the most modern, computerized equipment on the market today, and featuring soft cloth Hannah Magic for the most effective and safest method of cleaning your car. Tri-City Car Wash Centers have specially built dryers that hover just above your car. The result is the best possible wash and most thorough dry. A car is one of your most important possessions, so make it last. Protect your car from New England's unpredictable weather and do it in the best way possible at Tri-City Car Wash Centers in Rochester, Somersworth, and on Central Avenue in Dover.
We go to the bottom of the first inning here at Spaulding Field in Rochester. I'm Pete Barker along with Kevin Connolly. And it's Class L baseball, the Dover High Green Wave, and the Spaulding High Red Raiders here on New England Cablevision. First batter for the Red Raiders will be Paul Bushway, the sophomore playing left field tonight. John Panelides at third, and the shortstop Jamie Keefe will follow him. Wayne Cropper, the catcher, is the cleanup hitter tonight, and the pitcher Guy Donnelly will bat fifth. Here comes the delivery. Sawyer's first pitch out in the left center and beyond. Mike Lawson, he couldn't get it. And going into second is Bushway with a leadoff double on the first pitch of the ball game. Looked like Lawson had a draw on that ball, Kevin, but it just got past him just a little bit.
He was just a little slow. He kind of washed for the first couple steps when he could have maybe gone after it, but it was slicing away from him, and it got by him to the fence, and Bushway did a nice job of getting in second.
So we can say a double to center by Bushway, and here's Panelides, the third baseman. Panelides batting from the left side against Sawyer. And the pitch is a ball. Because this was a game that we anticipated a big crowd coming to. Of course, the threat of rain has kept it down a lot. Almost kept Barry Scanlon away, as a matter of fact. Nothing keeps him away, he says, from a game, whether it's winds at certain softball fields, which we like to go to. That's one thing tonight that's really nice right now. It's cool, but there isn't any wind out. Not yet.
No wind as of yet, but when we get wind, we could have rain right behind it.
Well, let's just hope it all decides to stay off for the better part of 2 hours. One the count on Panelides. Is Sawyer's delivery. A little bit high for a ball. Red Raiders' next scheduled game after this is against Keene, going over to Alumni Field in Keene for a doubleheader, but that weather permitting, and Dover is supposed to host Winnicott, which has been having a tough time. Opposite field hit by Panelides, and bobbled slightly in left field, but the runners will be at the corners with no one out here in the bottom of the first inning, so the Raiders have a threat going.
A couple of hits in a row by 2 leadoff batters, and now they got a chance with thick of their order coming up to knock in a couple of runs early.
First 2 batters up, Bushway in a double, Panelides a single. Here's the freshman shortstop, Jamie Keefe. These hits match the hits that the Raiders got in their first game with the Green Wave, because that was against Chris Brooks. They only got 2 in that game, and Keefe had 1 of them.
Brooks did a good job of shutting him down. I think Spaulding wants to come out and prove to Dover and to everyone watching that, you know, they can play and they possibly are a better team.
In the hole, Pierce with a good play going to second. Nice play by Pierce, the out at second, but the run scores as Bushway comes across to give the Red Raiders a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning.
Here on the replay, you see a nice stop by the shortstop there. Pierce, as he got up and made the only play he had possible at second base.
RBI on that fielder's choice by Keefe. And he's at first base, and the run's in, and here's Wayne Cropper, the catcher. 4th hitter in the lineup. Sawyer looking at the runner, and he goes over to first. Pierce, a sophomore shortstop, has come a long way. He on the varsity last year, and when the Green Wave had their ups and downs, and has really come along, had an excellent basketball season, as we mentioned on the first telecast, and also in playing very well as a shortstop. One of the big reasons the Green Wave has done so well this year, they've played good defense.
They have. They've been solid behind their pitchers, and they've got some pretty good pitching outings too as well. And when you hold some teams down and keep yourself in the ball game, then you know you have a chance to come back and win.
Frank DuBois is the base umpire calling time. Appears that Jamie Keefe wants to do some readjusting with his laces. Paul Mannion, the first base camera tonight. Greg Brooks up above. And a strike call. John Rodenhouse directing us. Steve Lewis is always somewhere around. As we're here for New England Cablevision, Channel 3. Sawyer coming to the plate, and it's fouled back. The count remains at 0-2. So the second half of the season, Kevin, when you're 9-3, of course, you want to continue to play good baseball to get into a top slot of the tournament. Then what about the other end of the spectrum? I mean, obviously, the pressure is not there on Dover as it is on Spaulding to win ball games. As much, anyway.
Spaulding, I think, they got to take it game by game, and see what they can do with that. But they want to start by just winning a couple of games, and Coach Bolin feels if they can, win a couple of close ones, the team will get some confidence, and then maybe they can put the streak together and put themselves into the playoffs.
This is a team that certainly should gain a lot of experience for the next couple of years. As will the Green Wave. The pitch has Burley's throw down to second. It's off and safe. As Craig Burley, who threw out 2 runners against Spaulding in the first game, 2 very important runners, this time had a throw wide to the left of the bag and a stolen base for Keefe. So Cropper up there now still with a 2-2 count. Seems he's been there for quite a while.
He's fouled off a couple pitches. He's hanging tough in there, and Keefe kept the pitcher Sawyer busy at first. Tried to go a couple times when Cropper fouled him off, and they've been concentrated on Keefe, and there he goes down to second on the stolen base.
Sawyer taking a look at Keefe to the plate and fouled off to the left on the ground. Count still at 2-2. Guy Donnelly, the pitcher, in the on-deck circle for the Red Raiders. Green Wave have been going with the combination pretty much this year, with the exception of 1 game of Brooks and Sawyer. Bloop down the right field line, and they say foul. Ball was called foul by a plate umpire Paul Cotera. Just foul, it looked like, Kevin.
It was close. They had the first baseman, second baseman, and the right fielder all going for it, and it just dropped in between, just on the right side of the foul line there, and Dover might have had a little break. If that would have dropped, that could have been, I don't think it would have been a run, but it would have had runners at the corners with the 1 out, and Spaulding would have been threatening again.
So Cropper doing his best to stave off an out. Will face a pitch of Sawyer again. This time he swings and misses for strike 3.
It's a nice battle there by both Sawyer and Cropper. As Cropper fought off 3 potential strikeouts, but Sawyer had a nice job reared back and threw the heat by him on that one.
Here's the pitcher, Guy Donnelly. As we're here at Spaulding Field under the lights, with old man rain or what have you want to call, not winter, but something holding off. It seems, though, Kevin, as Donnelly swings and misses for a strike, that we've never really gotten out of winter. We haven't really seen a spring yet, and summer is not too far away. What do you think?
Well, I'd like to think that we've had a couple nice days, but for Spaulding at night, they haven't had, I don't think, any warm night games. Every night game's been pretty cold for them, so I think it'll help out all of baseball once the warm weather comes around, and you can take off the undershirts and just play with the uniform.
We may have to wait another 6 weeks for it, the way
Could be.
things are going.
Maybe playoff time, but
That would be nice. Pitch fouled back. That's the best time to do it if you're going to get into a playoff situation. You want to be playing in decent weather. Because that's the way New England is. It's not exactly a warm weather mecca. Sawyer ahead on the count, 2 strikes. Pitch back through the middle. Pierce is going to handle it. He'll play it to first in plenty of time to win the inning. But the Raiders come up with a run on a couple of hits and lead 1-0 over Dover after 1 full inning of play.
Total Tone and Trim, 13 Gonick Road, Route 125, provides the exercise alternative with toning tables, the easiest and most beneficial way to stretch, tone, and strengthen your muscles, as well as relieve tension. Stay healthy and fit without undergoing a strenuous exercise program. Also included at Total Tone and Trim is aerobic equipment for a complete workout. And your individual progress is measured with our computerized body composition analysis. The original European body wraps are available using a formulated sea clay solution which tones and tightens skin, guaranteeing inches lost. And then there is the AccuMassage table, therapeutic for easing tension and stress and improving circulation. It's all for you for health and fitness at Total Tone and Trim, 13 Gonick Road, Route 125. Call them at 332-8718.
Going to the top of the second inning, Spaulding 1, Dover nothing here at Spaulding Field in Rochester. And Craig Burley, the solid catcher, the senior for the Green Wave, leading it off. We understand Burley is headed to the University of Southern Maine, which, as you know, Kevin, is a fine Division III baseball program, and he hits a drive to right center, and that ball is off the fence. Thought the way the fielders were playing it might have been gone, but it was off the fence for a leadoff double. And the Green Wave are in business here in the top of the second inning. Just commenting about that. That's a program, if indeed he's going, and I am told he is going there, that's a fine program up at Gorham, University of Southern Maine.
It certainly is. Had a fine season. They're around 27-7 right now, and they split with the University of Maine at Orono, and so they've got a strong program, and they're building up their whole academic program up there at USM.
Been to several tournaments, and as the pitch, Cropper was having a problem finding it, thinking it might go back. What about, that must be a tougher catcher. You've got to communicate, right, if he doesn't know where the baseball is.
Yeah, I've seen times when he's looking around for it and it can be in his glove, but that's if the pitcher can find it, he's got to help him out, and just anyone who can really tell him about it, where it is, right down in front. But the thing for the catcher to do is keep his feet moving, just in case it does get by him.
Pitch down low. This is John Blaine, the designated hitter. He's hitting for first baseman Dan Waterhouse. Guy Donnelly, the Red Raiders pitcher, with a runner on second and inside. 3-0 now the count. Donnelly working himself into a little bit of trouble here in the second inning. Here in this coolish night, and it's not going to get warmer. We just hope the rain stays away. Pitch and a strike. Jack Gordon, the head coach of the Green Wave, is coaching third tonight. Didn't the first time these two teams played. Maybe he decided he needed a veteran over there at third base. I don't know, because of some error. I have no idea why, but he normally doesn't do that.
Can be a critical position there. A close game as they had last time. You hate to be sitting on the bench when you send someone around third base and gets thrown out at home or whatever, but I'm sure as the head coach, he wants to be the one to make the final decisions whether to send him or keep him in a close ball game.
Fouled back. Count goes, still remains at 3-2. So that's important, really. As you said, a critical position. And you look at the major leagues, and third base coaches have been criticized for certain things. Very important to determine as it's fouled off overhead, to determine what to do with that runner. You've got to watch everything out in that outfield and make it a pretty good decision.
You do, and that's why it helps to see maybe some, when the opposing team's taking infield and outfield, to see how strong the outfielder's arms are, and to know the speed of your own teammates. So as the coach, I'm sure he knows its speed as well as anybody, and he can judge if, say, Burley's coming around to score, how his speed and his chances of scoring. So I think it's very important to have someone who knows what they're doing out there at third base.
Blaine draws the walk after getting ahead of the count, then going to 3-2 and fouling off a couple of pitches. And here's Greg Morginus, the left fielder. So the Green Wave with the threat here at the top of the second inning. It's 1-0 Spaulding. As here on May 10th, we still have people wearing thermal tops and parkas, winter parkas. It just hasn't gotten that much better, Kevin, as we've been talking before, but it will come.
It will, and especially these night games, it's tough to go out there and play. The hands get cold, and if you're not having a lot of movement, then it can be tough.
We were saying a bunt, and safe at first, as Frank Du Bois, the base umpire, says that the throw did not get over, or Wizardwadi did not get over in time to cover it. So what do you think about that one?
I think he just missed the base with his first foot, and he ended up straddling it, and he might have got hit here, as we see on the instant replay. Nice job of Donnelly coming off the mound and feeling it. Wizardwadi was just a little late getting over to the base, and there you saw he missed it. He just missed the base.
Well, the scoring, I guess we can go on that as a, how do we want to score that? A sacrifice bunt or a bunt single? I guess we can go with a bunt single on that. not really make it an error. And loads the bases for Chris Mangum, the second baseman, who pops it up into foul territory. Cropper going over. Let's see if he can handle it, and he does easily. 1 out. Mangum went for the first pitch and popped it up to Cropper. One down. That's Steve Meserve, the right fielder. As the crowd's gotten a lot larger here, a pretty good Dover crowd down by the third base dugout.
We'll keep coming in as they go, but we started a little early, and fans didn't expect that, and the weather seems like it's holding off a little bit. We'll see what it brings, though.
I don't know, maybe all the anti-rain dances we've done here helped out. Donnelly trying to work himself out of a mess as a strike to Meserve. Pitch, strike 2 called. Caught the inside corner on that. Or did we say the black of the plate? I don't know. I used to think there was an argument where the black wasn't part of the plate, but that's what they say.
It actually isn't supposed to be part of the plate, but some umps call it, some umps don't, and it depends on what type of ump you get.
Saw something the other day that mentioned they caught him with a fastball on the black, so you're right. I was saying I didn't think it was either. But it depends. What they're obviously doing is we get a strikeout on that one. So 2 big outs for Donnelly. And he's facing Dana Estes. Dana Estes, the third baseman, the number 9 hitter in the Dover lineup. 2-0 the count. This is a big man, obviously. You got the number 9 hitter for Guy Donnelly, as the Green Wave had the first 3 batters on and have not been able to score yet here in the second inning.
No, they got a little break there on the second. They tried to sacrifice mode of second to third, and Morgenus got on, so they have the bases loaded with nobody out, and a pop-up to the catcher, and then a strikeout. So Donnelly's trying to do his best to work his way out of this.
Now he's down in the count 3-0. He was down earlier in the inning to John Blaine and ended up walking him on a 3-2 count. Must be tough. The number 9 hitter is always a play you're not supposed to let reach base, are you?
Well, you don't want to let him reach base, but sometimes it can be a little deceiving, as the number 9 hitter can be a type of leadoff hitter that's maybe not as good as the leadoff hitter, but he has the speed and decent back control. But you like to have a decent player at the number 9 hitter with a little speed and can make some contact.
Well, ball 4 went outside. He walks him on 4 straight pitches, and the game is tied as Estes draws a bases-loaded walk. That forces Burley home with a run that ties it at 1 apiece here at Spaulding Field. Here's Jeff Pierce, who singled to right field his first time up. It was in the first inning. He has the bases loaded out high. That's 5 straight balls by Donnelly. What's he doing? Not following through on this? He seems to have lost his control for momentarily, Kevin.
He did a good job with when Meserve was up and he had the bases loaded. He just came right at him, and now Coach Bowen wants to call a timeout and go talk things over with Donnelly to see what's up. But he might be letting up just a little bit with the bases loaded. He's trying to aim the ball a little more instead of just bringing back and letting it go.
And the pitch is just flying outside. We said now 6 straight balls that he's thrown after he got 2 batters out. And he's got P.S. the shortstop, who could get a good pitch to hit in this situation.
He could. 2-0, he might just try to lay one right over the middle. So with a 2-0 count, after throwing 6 straight balls, though, Coach Gord might have him taken, but you never know with the leadoff hitter. He could be looking for one to be put right over there, and so Spaulding's just got to be a little ready for anything that might happen here.
Right, considering how that Donnelly is a little bit wild right now, it might be unwise to swing.
Yeah,
if it's out of the zone. Well, he did take it that time, but he had to.
you don't want to help him out at all there. He made sure he put it over the plate.
2-1. Here's Donley's delivery right back to the mound, and he's going to get out of this inning with just one run as he tosses softly to the first baseman Callahan. So Dover scores one in the top of the second, and we're tied 1-1 going to the bottom of the second inning.
The place for GE appliances and video products is Nard's TV and Appliance Store, 74 High Street in Somersworth. Refrigerators designed for today's kitchen in different styles and colors. And look at all the economically priced GE washing machines and dryers. Nard's is well known for TVs, all sizes, from the most economical to the large screen. Plus, there are many VCRs to choose from, as well as camera equipment. Nard's has a large selection of ranges, GE built and GE dependable. Don't forget that Nard's services what they sell, and they carry a full line of accessories. Stop by and see what's available at Nard's TV and Appliance Store.
We're in the bottom of the second as we are doing this on Channel 3 New England Cablevision, where a lot of local sports showing on these systems, aren't they, Kevin?
They are. We got some football, some softball, baseball, and basketball, and all over Farmington to Dover to Portsmouth to Spaulding. We got a lot of different sports and a lot of different teams to be shown on this channel.
Certainly have. I want to thank everyone who makes it possible as the pitch rides outside to the center fielder, Andy Donatello. Crowd getting a little bit livelier here, as you say. It isn't bad at all, really, now that we look at it. They decided to come out. Type of game that really draws the people, as it's 1-1 now. I mean, a Dover-Spaulding night baseball game just has to draw a crowd.
It certainly does. Some rivalry between these two schools, and anything they compete against each other, and fans like to see that type of rivalry.
Pitch goes up high. It's Donatello, Brian Callahan, the first baseman, and right fielder Alan Wickstrom, the first three batters of this inning. Against Tim Sawyer, we gave up 2 hits and a run in the first inning. Pitch fouled. I think it was fouled off the umpire's chest protector. 2-2 the count. Red Raiders scheduled to play Manchester Central here on May 17th under the lights. We'll have that game for you on Channel 3. And the pitch goes in the dirt, and Burley just lets it bounce past him to the fence. Matter of fact, Spaulding's, a lot of the rest of Spaulding's games are under the lights at home. They also, 26, they finished the regular season against Merrimack here at Spaulding Field.
Once they get into the season, 4 or 5 games, then they start playing under the lights here, and I think the kids really enjoy it. It's a little different than most teams do around here, and a little easier for the parents to get to the games. They don't have to rush right after school.
Really would be nice if more people could come to night games, but there aren't that many fields around in Class L that can have that many.
No, there aren't. It's tough to get some lights around your baseball field, and if you do, it's usually your football field first, and then it's like doubling up and can get awfully expensive.
And the drive going to the opposite field. Looks like it's going to get over the head of the right fielder, Meserve. It does. And Donatello's going to steam into second with a stand-up double, leading off the second inning.
Nice job there by Donatello as he fought up a couple pitches. So he got ahead of him there with 2 strikes. He fought up a couple pitches, then he finally got one that he could hit, and he hit it over the right fielder's head. Here you see he came inside a little bit with it, and actually got it off the end of the bat and just poked it to right field.
It was like Meserve had to turn around, didn't quite get the kind of beat on the ball he wanted to, Kevin.
He got turned the wrong way, but again, it was slicing away from him, and he first turned to his right, then he had to hook back around to his left, but did a nice job of getting it right off the bounce because Donatello was going around those bases pretty quick. I think he wanted third base, but Meserve got it in quick and held him to a double.
Here's the first baseman, Brian Callahan. His first time at bat tonight. His Teammate Donatello on second as he faces Sawyer down low. Burley keeps it in front of him. Sawyer at times this season, they tell me, is given up a lot of runs, but in those games he's pitched, his teammates have scored for him, and that really helps you.
It certainly does if you get the offensive support, especially if you get it early, and then you know no matter how far you're down or whatever that your team can still come back, and if the pitcher can keep it reasonably close going in the late innings, at least his team has a chance, and that's what the pitcher's job is to do, is to keep it close.
That last pitch up high. Count is 2-0. As we talk now, only a little over 2 weeks left in the regular season. It seems like it started too early. It seems like we need about 4 more weeks or 5 more weeks. Started way back for the Green Wave, as a matter of fact, on April 12th, for the Red Raiders on April 14th. It seems like a long time ago.
It's tough for a team. They practice indoors, and all of a sudden they get maybe 3-4 decent days to practice outdoors, and they're right into game situations. So it's tough on a coach and a team to get out there and work on the field, work on game situations when you're working inside.
And the worst thing is once you've gotten into that thing and then you have a couple of days of rain, then you have to go back inside once you've been outside for 4 weeks. 3-1, the pitch outside by Sawyer. Sawyer, does he look like he's struggling a little bit out there?
He is. He's little, what do I want to say? He's just not finding the plate. He's just all over the place. He's been low, if anything, and he just can't find a place right now. And
Ball 4 to Callahan.
Spaulding batters being a little more patient now. As the first couple of batters, Bushways and Panelides, they had hits and they jumped right on Sawyer. But now they're being a little more patient and waiting them out. And Callahan did a nice job of drawing a walk.
Here's Wickstrom, the sophomore right fielder for the Red Raiders. Let's see if he's going to lay one down to try to advance the runners over. Number 8 hitter for Spaulding.
He could probably try to wait out and see, make him throw a strike. There he goes for the bunt right away.
Pitch looked like it might have been a little bit high.
Yeah, it looked a little high and outside, but Sawyer's got the advantage now at 0-1.
1-1 the score here in the bottom of the second inning, as the Red Raiders and the Dover Green Wave battling here at Spaulding Field in Rochester. I'm Pete Barker along with Kevin Conley here at Spaulding Field. And the pitch up high. Notice what's basically happening is that Sawyer he's even with the count now, but he very well could be behind in the count. And when you start doing that, I guess you throw either a fat pitch or it just weighs you down early.
It does. In the first inning there, he threw quite a few pitches as some Spaulding batters fought him off and made him throw a lot. And here in the second inning, he's got no outs and already a couple players have reached base.
There was the nice bunt, and at first, wow, the first baseman, Waterhouse, nearly dropping it there with taking that throw, but a good bunt by Wickstrom on the sacrifice moves the runners over. That sets up Jay Wizawati, number 9 hitter, playing second tonight, the sophomore. We understand the normal second baseman, Sean Viney, the senior, was sick and could not play. So Wizawati is stepping into his place tonight. I wonder if you're going to have another bunt on, either a safety or suicide.
We could see something, but Sawyer's going from the stretch, so it'll make it tough for him to do anything. As there Wizawati swung away.
Fouled it way off out in the parking lot to the right of the Spaulding dugout. Game going slower than the last game between these two teams, but you can't expect a 1-0 game every time to go that quickly.
No.
Both teams have been getting runners on base here in the early innings. Pitch up high for a ball. We said Red Raiders' next action After this, scheduled to travel to Keene for a doubleheader on May 12th, beginning around 3 o'clock. That's always a tough ride to go over. And you've been over that way. It's a nice ride, but it's tough to play over there after a long ride.
It is. And that's why they play the doubleheader. They switch off each year. We'll go down there, play doubleheader, then Keene the following year we'll come up here to play doubleheader. But it's a rough ride. Then you got to get out and play a couple games. So you like to stretch out and loosen up first.
Green Wave do not have Keene on their schedule, I don't believe, this year. And it's the same if Keene comes over into the Seacoast area, the same for them. They've got to take the same type of ride.
Yeah, and Keene has to travel up here more than Spaulding or whoever has to travel down there, so it's tough.
Out into right center, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. And a run comes across as just sort of flared out there. It was a looping fly. 3 players went after it, and it fell in his reserve. Tried to get the dive on it. Looked like it went off his glove, or he just missed it, Kevin.
Here you see the replays. Did a nice job. 2 strikes, fought it off, got up in the air, and the outfielders are playing rather deep for a number 9 hitter, and they both came and reserve tried for it. There, just got underneath his glove. There you see Donatello cross home plate to give Spaulding a 2-1 lead.
And going to third on the play is Callahan. And the batter is Bushway. As Wizawati stays at first. And a ball to Bushway. So 2-1 Spaulding here in the bottom of the second. Spaulding field. Pitch goes outside.
Sawyer's falling behind the Spaulding batters right now. This is the second inning of work. He's thrown quite a few pitches. He's already back up to the top of the order with only 1 out here in the second inning for Spaulding.
Ground ball right back to the mound. Sawyer's going to go to second, and he goes into center field. And a run's going to score. Wizawati safe at first, and safe at second, rather. Bushway safe at first. And it's 3-1 Spaulding as Sawyer's throw a little bit off as he wanted to get the double play.
A little lack of communication there by Mangum and Pierce. They both went over to cover the base, but as the throw went, looked like it was might have been a little high, but it was right over the base, and they both stopped. Neither one took the initiative and took the base.
I have a question for you on that. Wouldn't it have been better with the runner on third, nobody out, sort of looking back and just get the shore out at first?
Well, I think there was 1 out actually, so I think they wanted the double play and to maybe end the inning. It was a good double play ball.
Okay, right. We do have 1 out. Correction, right. So that's what the difference was. No, that was the right strategy, but you said it just didn't work out right.
No, it didn't.
That's what a pitcher wants. He did get the double play ball. And there was 1 out right on the sacrifice bunt that was put down by Wickstrom. And Wizawati came up with that fly ball single to right field that just fell in front of Estes as he dove for it. Bushway safe at first on the fielder's choice, and here's a wild pitch. Pass ball. We're going to call it a pass ball on Burley.
Runners advance to base C, so we got second and third with 1 out here and top of the order for Spaulding, so they're keeping the threat alive.
And it's getting cooler here, Kevin.
Yeah, the wind's starting to pick up just a little bit. We got a slight breeze coming in now.
I think Barry Scanlon's going to go out and put up that rain shield that he's been carrying. We're going to need it, I'm sure. Right, if we were down in a certain place in the area, we'd be having some real wind problems. And Sawyer, again, behind in the count 2-1. Helped dig his own hole there by making that error, though.
Well, it scored a run, and now you get second and third with 1 out when it was a possible double play situation where you could have got out of the inning. So it depends how much damage Spaulding can do now, but it's cost them 1 run so far.
Panelides, the hitter, and he's ahead of the count 3-1.
Just puts a little more wear and tear on Sawyer's arm, too. As we stated a couple times, he's throwing a lot of pitches, and now instead of getting out of the inning, he's going to throw 15, 20 more pitches.
Taking a long time between pitches, of course, to try to settle himself down. Jack Gordon, the head coach, came out. And something's wrong out there. His time is called. Not quite sure what it is. Can you see it with that?
Maybe something in his eye. Looks like he's, yeah, I think he's got something in his eye there. Look at Sawyer.
You're right. He does have something in his eye. Good shot by... So he's still not comfortable. And just talking about how many timeouts that is in the inning. As a matter of fact, that is the second conference of the inning. I think that is the second conference of the inning. Looks like the situation is about taken care of. As I'm sure these teams would like to get into a situation where they could get it to an official game and not have to come back and replay the whole thing, Kevin.
Yeah, once you get started, you like to finish the game, and that's what both teams want here, and especially tough if one team's up to have to come back and start the game over or whatever.
Walk to Panelides. And warm-up action for the Green Wave. Not sure who it is, but we do have somebody going way down the left field line. Sawyer is definitely struggling, even though he gets a strike that time. And this is Jamie Keefe, who reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning, the freshman shortstop. Good opportunity here for the Red Raiders, who lead it 3-1 in the bottom of the second inning at Spaulding Field. And it goes down low for a ball. Burley's been busy down there, and I have to stop all those low balls, keeping them in front of him, but doing a relatively decent job.
He has. He's been doing a nice job of getting in front of the ball, especially he had that one pass ball, but when there's been men on, he's done a nice job of getting in front of the ball. And so he's been quite a bit low here with a lot of pitches, so he could be tiring a little.
Strike called. I don't think Keefe liked that one too well, or was disgusted with himself for taking it.
It's a nice location by Sawyers. He's been low there. He's a little low outside, and Keefe might have thought that it was a little out of the strike zone.
Dark and overcast, and about as close as you can get without the rain coming down, Kevin, here at Spaulding Field.
Yeah, the skies have turned black on us.
We're just hoping it stays away. It's about all we can hope for. But Mother Nature, when it gets here, it gets here. There's nothing you can do about stopping it. One and two delivery, high and inside, 2-2 the count. Has not been a quick ball game, actually. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Started it a little bit earlier than the normal 7:30 starting time, but you never know with a game of baseball how long it's going to take you.
No, it's not a running clock. It just goes by inning, and it could take
4 hours.
Yeah, it could take up to 4 hours, and it could be as quick as an hour and a half.
And I've been on both ends of the spectrum. Not this year here. We've had good luck here where all these games have been under the 2-hour mark. But here again, it just depends on how things are going any particular day. Full count pitch, and it's fouled off by Keefe. One out here in the bottom of the second. 2 runs in already for Spaulding. It's 3-1 for the Raiders. Scored once in the first inning.
The Spaulding batters really taking Sawyer to the limit here. Keefe's fouled off a couple 2-strike pitches there with 3-2, fouls it off, and now he draws the walk.
He certainly does on a high pitch and an RBI walk for Jamie Keefe. It's 4-1 Spaulding as Wizarwati crosses the plate. As we said, it's getting colder and cooler here at Spaulding Field. I hope all this will stand up, but it's been a long inning. as Jack Gordon, the head coach of the Green Wave, has not made a move to pull Sawyer yet, but I think it's coming closer and closer to that possibility.
It is. He's struggling to get through this inning here, and it's not all his fault. They had, as we said, the double play ball in there.
Wayne Cropper, right center field, and if that doesn't pull him out, nothing will. 2 runs are going to cross easily, and they're waving the 3rd one in. Here's a throw, not in time, and a 3-run double for Wayne Cropper. Spaulding up now, 7-1. And well, I don't know. I guess that's going to be the end of Tim Sawyer. I don't know. He really was struggling, and Cropper, on the first pitch, I believe, goes to the opposite field for a bases-clearing double.
So he was struggling, and Cropper just jumped all over his first pitch. He did a nice job of lining it right over the second baseman's head and shot it out there fast enough to get into the gap between center and right, and right fielder there in reserve had to chase it all the way to the fence, allowing all 3 runs to score.
Just hope that it doesn't rain. Obviously, I'm sure right now the one hope being down this early, rain would certainly help the team on the losing end type of thing, but you hate to see that happen here since they both, I don't think either team wants to have to come back to play this.
No, especially Spaulding right now being up 7-1 here in the 2nd inning, and they want this game to go at least 5 innings before the rain hits. And I'm sure both teams want to play it out, and Dover's not out of it. As we said, they've gotten some pretty good hitting this year, and they're capable of putting some runs on the board.
Okay, so John Blaine now is going to be pitching, and Sawyer is at first base, so Waterhouse is out of the game, and that's the change, as a rocky game, to say the least, for Tim Sawyer. He gave up 2 hits and a run in the first inning. He's given up 6 runs in this inning. 6 runs and 3 hits in this game, in this inning. He also wound up walking a couple of batters.
Yeah, he walked 3 also, and
right, 3 batters. So he just had, it just wasn't a good inning really. For Tim Sawyer, is now they're trailing at 7-1. Probably awfully disappointing for Sawyer, and this early in the game here at Spaulding Field. He'll stay in the game at first. John Blaine, the sophomore, will leave, and will face Guy Donnelly, the pitcher for the Red Raiders. Donnelly grounded a short in the first inning. 6 runs in here for the Red Raiders. Cropper on second with 1 out. Certainly the way they've been hitting the ball would please head coach Hugo Bolin of the Red Raiders.
That's what he stressed. He wanted to start hitting the ball a little better. They've been having some pretty good pitching outings, and he feels that they can score some runs. They'll be on the winning side of some ball games that they've had trouble winning this first half of the season.
Blaine's pitch there got away. The other side of the batter, Donnelly, this time he fouls it off, 1-2. Wouldn't you know that in a night when you're trying to beat the rain, that it's probably one of the longest games of the season, or more runs. I mean, 7-1, I said the last time these two teams met, Dover won it 1-0.
On 2 hits by Spaulding, but now they've, as we said, first 2 batters had hits for Spaulding equal that mark, and they've surpassed it already, and they're coming out wanting to score some runs against this Dover team.
Pitch foul back again. I believe they've got 5 hits total in this game. 3 in this inning. The big one, that bases loaded double to the gap in right center by Cropper. Fouled off. Been a long half inning here at Spaulding Field. Had an opportunity to, that That isn't good stuff coming down out of the sky, Kevin.
No, we're getting some rain now.
Now here comes the rain. And we'll just have to wait and see as it's hit out to center field. Lawson coming on, and he drops it. He tried to make a diving catch. That will be a base hit, not an error. As he came over and tried to get the catch, and that's what we feared. The rain is coming down, and we just don't know how heavy it's going to be. It's not that heavy right now, but we'll have to see what goes. It's a base hit for Donnelly.
Here you see the replay. 2 strikes. Donnelly fought off a couple pitches, fouled them off in there. Center fielder Lawson comes in and just can't make the grab on a nice effort. And Cropper digs to third base.
Cropper held up and then moved over to third. And just what we feared, as we said, the rain has arrived here at Spaulding Field. And it's going to depend on how intense it is, Kevin, how long this game goes.
If it's a light rain, they'll keep playing and see what happens. But if it gets too heavy, then they're going to have to take a little break. But right now, it's playable conditions.
On May 5th, Spaulding played in the rain against Pinkerton and wound up losing that game. But it's unfortunate that it comes on a night game that you and I want to do, the first time we've got together here in the baseball season. The weatherman just isn't kind. Larry Scanlon's going at it again, trying to do something. I don't know if he wants it to rain or what. You'd rather see I'm sure back in his days at Lowell, Mass, or that area, used to play in the rain and the wind on occasion. Not fun for anybody to do that, but that does happen. Andy Donatello is the batter, as we've gone into the 10th batter in this inning for Spaulding. Donatello led this off a long time ago, it seems, with a double.
He did. He was the first batter up, and back when Sawyer was pitching and fought off a couple 3-2 pitches and hit a double to right field. 1 out later, he's back up again.
That's right. There's only been 1 out in this inning. I don't know how long it's gone, but I think this inning has gone about a half an hour right now, approximately. Now out to right field, Meserve is drifting towards the line, makes the grab. Out number 2, but the throw won't get to home plate anywhere near in time, and it's 8-1 Spaulding as Cropper comes across on the sacrifice fly to right by Donatello. That's 7 runs across for Spaulding in this inning. Sacrifice fly to right, the second out of the inning. The bases still have Donnelly on first. And here's Callahan. Walked and scored earlier in this inning. So we wanted 1 more hour to keep this out of here and see what happened. Somebody will come in with a retractable dome or something, and maybe we can get this in. But unfortunately, that isn't how it is. Swing and a miss by Callahan. 8-1 Spaulding over Dover here in the bottom of the 2nd inning at Spaulding Field as the rain has come in. Here's the delivery, the ball. Raiders have hit the ball, took advantage of an error by Dover starting pitcher Tim Sawyer and control problems, and that's why they've got the total of 7 runs, or in this inning, 8 in the ball game. Pitch, Callahan swings and misses, an inside fastball. Looked like he was going for the fence on that one.
Took a good cut, got up there, and he's taking his rips, and new pitcher Blaine's been a little more consistent than Sawyer was. A little more around the plate there as he stayed ahead of the Spaulding hitters.
Here's the delivery, and it's hit out into right center field. Meserve coming over. He makes the grab, and that ends the inning finally. A terrible inning for the Dover Green Wave, but a very productive one for Spaulding as they come up with 7 runs in that inning. and lead it after 2 full 8-1.
Introducing the biggest and most beautiful showroom, New England Furniture Company of Farmington, with acres of living room sets to choose from. Beautiful choices, elegant, and priced to please. And look at all the recliners that are available. New England Furniture Company specializes in a wide selection of dining room sets and all types of home furnishings to make your home complete. Quality, value, style, all at low factory prices in the most beautiful new showroom around. New England Furniture Company in Farmington.
Finally reached the top of the third inning as the Dover Green Wave, facing an 8-1 deficit, lead it off with Tim Sawyer now playing first base after being knocked out of the box. And Mike Lawson, the center fielder, Craig Burley, the catcher. The next two hitters will face Guy Donnelly, who has an 8-1 lead here in the rain at Spaulding Field. And the pitch strike called. I guess the rule would be after 4.5 innings, if Spaulding is ahead, it would be an official ball game.
If they can make it that far with the rain.
That's what we don't know, and that's going to be very, very tough to get an official game here for anybody, as a ground ball double down the right field line is what it turns out to for Sawyer. High ground ball just past Callahan at first base.
He might have got his glove on it there as he went for the ball, but it just squirted by him and got down the line.
We'll take another look at it.
I don't think he got it touched it at all, right down the line, and
Sawyer didn't waste much time going after it. Going to second, I should say, as he just kept on going and got down there to second base.
Anytime you get a shot like that in between the first baseman and the right field line, then you know it's double territory at least, and he went hard into second base.
Mike Lawson, a strike to him. The center fielder for the Green Wave lined out to John Pantelides at third in the first inning. We're in the third here at Spaulding Field, as it's a guessing game as to whether the rain will be beaten here. And I would never want to guess that, Kevin.
No.
It isn't, right now it is playable out there. It's going to stay that way, I think, for a while. Delivery rides inside. Ball and 2 strikes on Lawson. Craig Burley, the catcher, on deck. Dover down 8-1, has Sawyer on second thanks to the leadoff double. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 as Lawson goes down for the first out of the inning. Craig Burley stepping to the plate. He led off the second inning with a double to right center and scored Dover's only run, which came on a bases-loaded walk to Dana Estes, with 2 out in that inning. Pitch by Donnelly. He goes outside. As we said, it's raining here at Spaulding Field. Another pitch outside. I don't know what players think out there, Kevin. Do you have any idea what they're thinking? Or is the team leading thinking just of beating the rain at this point? Doesn't it really affect the way you play?
I don't think once they're out in the field it does. Maybe when they get in the dugout and get a chance to sit down, they think about it a little bit, but they know they just got to go out there and play ball.
As Burley slaps a single to center field right up the middle on the ground, and Sawyer scores easily. It's 8-2. So 2 hits for Burley in this game. A run scored and an RBI as Sawyer comes across easily. John Blaine, who started out as a DH, now the pitcher for the Green Wave at the plate. Greg Morganis, the left fielder, is the on-deck hitter for Dover. Green Wave have a ways to go here as they're trailing at 8-2. Spaulding came up with 7 runs in the bottom of the second inning. We're in the top of the third as it is raining here at Spaulding Field in Rochester. Pitch fouled off into the night. Listen, the lights here sort of amplify what it's doing with that rain, as you can look up there and get a great look. It's not heavy now. It's sort of a steady mist, but it's not hard.
No, it's
Fouled off again. But it's not going to get any better. It would be nice, though, if it would stop for about an hour. Red Raiders looking to get to 5-6 on the season, while Dover, which lost to Trinity 6-4, snapping a 6-game winning streak, would like to pick up their 10th win of the season. They're 9-3. Ground ball left side, going into left field for a base hit. 2 on for the Green Wave, and 1 out here in the top of the third. It's 8-2 we have it, or is it
8-2 still.
8-2 is the score. And time is called as Jack Gordon coming out, and I believe we've got a pinch runner for Blaine, who's now pitching.
Come up here and do it. There. Right up the step.
Scores were changed on the scoreboard as it
All yours.
was 8-3. I guess somebody was hassling Frank Callahan, who's doing the scoreboard. It is 8-2 here, as now we've got a stoppage, and of course Hugo Bowler, the head coach of the Red Raiders, out to talk to Paul Katera. Oh, this is the type of game where you need those extra baseballs.
Yeah, you lose him into the parking lot. They come back a little wet and just on the grass. When the grass gets some of the mist on it, the balls pick it up, and it can be tough to throw here.
As Morganis is coming, the big lead coming into this inning, sort of working himself into some more trouble. This hasn't been really a pitcher's night. And a strike. Actually, there have been 3 hits in this inning off of Donnelly.
Leadoff double by Sawyer, and then Burley knocked him in with his single to center, and Blaine followed with a single to left, sending Burley to second.
And we've got a count now, 3-1 on the batter, Greg Morganis. Morganis reached first on what we gave him. Actually, it was going to be an attempted sacrifice bunt, which what it was, but really went as a bunt single in the second inning. Strike 2 called. Guy Donnelly here in the third inning, the pitcher for the Red Raiders, trying to work himself out of any further trouble. It's popped up right side, very shallow right field, and grabbed though by Wickstrom. Nice throw over to third, and very nice throw over to third, right to Panelides as the runner Burley at second didn't dare to move.
It was a shallow fly ball to right. Wickstrom did a nice job of coming in hard and making the catch, then coming right up throwing. Donnelly had to make the decision whether to go to first in case it dropped or to go back up third, and he was trying to get over there. Nice job by Panelides staying with the one hopper.
Here's Chris Mangum, the second baseman, takes a strike. Mangum fouled out to the catcher Wayne Cropper in the second inning. That was for the first out of the inning. He came up with the bases loaded. Fouled out on the first pitch. 1-1 now to Mangum. He's a junior for the Greenway. Pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 2. Donnelly looking like he means business right now. He certainly wants to get out of this inning without any more damage done to him.
Does. He's just ran back right now and letting it go.
Swing and a miss, and a high outside pitch looked like out of the strike zone. But that's it. The Green Wave do come up with 1 run on 3 hits after 2.5. Spaulding 8, Dover 2.
Not only does Rochester Stove have the greatest selection of wood stoves in Stratford County, but they also have a great selection of grills for your summer cookouts. Portable grills for burgers at the beach, and large grills for the family backyard cookouts. Rochester Stove has a variety of cooking utensils and briquettes to add a spark to your life. Add some sizzle to your summertime fun at Rochester Stove, 4 Gonick Road in Rochester.
We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and there it is, Kevin. That's not an image or an imagination on your screen. That is rain coming down here at Spaulding Field. Not that heavy yet. It's sort of a steady light rain as Alan Wickstrom, the right fielder, leads it off for the Spaulding Red Raiders, who lead it 8-2. Thanks to that 7-run 2nd inning. And John Blaine, who came on to put out the fire in the inning in relief of Tim Sawyer, is the pitcher. Delivery, strike called, 1-2. Obviously, the Red Raiders in the dugout now would probably think of trying to get in a couple more innings. But they're hitting it to center field on a couple of bounces to Mike Lawson for a hit by Wickstrom. I've seen teams in the past, not necessarily here in New Hampshire ball, but sometimes teams, knowing they want to get that game in because of something, will try to hurry and just get it over with sometimes. But that's tough, though. It takes you out of your rhythm if you do that.
It does, and with only an 8-2 lead, 6 runs, I can see maybe if you're up by 10 or 12 hurrying up, but you don't want to send your players up there just to get out. You want to go up there and play ball, as Spaulding will be doing.
And that's what they're doing as Jay Wisawati takes a ball. Second baseman drove in a run with a single to right that fell in and scored in the 2nd inning. Head of the count now, 2-0. We said Craig Burley started 1 game for Dover this year, but he's done catching in every other game and won it against Milford. Swing and a miss. That was strike 1 to Wisawati. Here comes Blaine's delivery. It's down low and inside. Count in Wisawati's favor, 3-1. And another ball thrown out by the Spaulding manager. As we say, if this game is able to continue, then as long as it stays this way, Kevin, I think it can. This is not windswept pounding rain, which is the forecast.
No, just a steady drizzler out there, and just enough to collect some rain on the helmets of the batters.
Let's hope it stays that way for a while. This windswept pounding rain is the type of rain that you don't want to get up in. You want to stay in bed. As I said, those gray days don't make anybody want to get up. At least not me. I don't know about you.
No, I don't mind sleeping through the rain.
Popped up. Right side of the infield. Going back, Sawyer, and he drops it. And they're going to get the force at second. They're going to get the force at second. And Sawyer just didn't play that ball well at all, did he?
He had a little trouble with it. Could be the rain, as we've been talking, looking up into that mist. But Wickstrom was stealing on the pitch, and as it was popped up, he had to hurry back to first. And once Sawyer dropped it, they had an easy force at second base.
Which actually goes out 9-6, right fielder to shortstop. Here's Paul Bushway, the left fielder. Bushways went up twice in this game, doubled to lead off the game and scored, reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the second inning. Pitch is a ball. One out here in the bottom of the third. Spaulding 8, Dover 2. Watching Spaulding Dover baseball on New England Cablevision. I'm Pete Barker along with Kevin Conley and our cameraman who are up in the rain. The first base cameraman Paul Mannion and Greg Brooks up top. They do a heck of a job, Kevin. And they happen to be out in that weather. We're right here in the dry press box. They are out getting wet.
They got their rain gear on, and they're toughing it out there in the...
Oh, yeah, they're toughing it out. Ground ball almost hit the base umpire, Frank Dubois, and it wound up being a single into right center field. Here's the throw to third, and it gets away from the third baseman Estes. Now we have runners on second and third as Bushway wound up going into second, and Wizawati is on third.
You see on the replay, hard hit ball right up the middle. Frank Dubois jumping out of the way there, the base umpire. Wizawati just hesitated a little bit, but went on to third. And it was a good throw, but third baseman had a little trouble handling it.
I think Frank Dubois will probably be taping that for his grandchildren or something when he sees that. This is what I did, kids. You did, Grand? No matter of fact, Frank Dubois was the home plate umpire up here when Spaulding and Pinkerton played in the rain, so he's used to it by now. I say it's a steady, but it isn't a heavy pounding thing at this particular point. And let's hope it stays that way here at Spaulding Field. Pitch, swing and a miss by the batter, John Pantelides. Singled in the first, and he walked in the second. He scored in the second inning. He's the third baseman for the Raiders this evening. Here's the pitch by Blaine, strike called. Blaine ahead of the count, 1-2. We're here at rainy Spaulding Field, and the pitch is fouled off to the left on the track. Raiders would probably like to add a couple more and just try to get the green wave out in the part of the inning, but of course Dover has other ideas when they come up offensively.
They do. Spaulding's been threatening in most of their 3 innings here of work. Here they got second and third with 1 out. Top of the order up again with Pantelides, followed by Keefe and Cropper. So Keefe and Cropper have done the majority of the damage for Spaulding. Keefe with a couple RBIs, and Cropper has 3.
Strike 3 called on that last pitch as Pantelides down for the out in this inning. Out number 2 is Jamie Keefe. He's hitless in 1 at bat. He walked in the second, reached on a fielder's choice in the first, and scored in the second inning. That walk came with the bases loaded and drove in a run. Raiders have runners on second and third with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. That leading at 8-2. Class L baseball that you're seeing here on New England Cablevision. Here's the delivery, rounded right back to the mound, and he'll be out of this inning with John Blaine as he goes to first. So the Raiders leave 2 on, do not score at the end of 3 complete here at Spaulding Field. Spaulding 8, Dover 2.
Come into the newly renovated Kearney Drug Company in downtown Rochester. First in the area with computerized prescription service for fast and reliable dispensing of medication. First in the area with sick room supplies, convalescent aids, and medical oxygen. First in terms of friendly and efficient service. And Kearney Drug has one of the largest selections of greeting cards, gifts for all occasions, and the latest in cosmetics. The pharmacy with more of what you need. Kearney Drug Company, located in downtown Rochester. Call 332-2132.
We're in the top of the 4th inning here at Spaulding Field in Rochester. I'm Pete Barker along with Kevin Conley. And Spaulding leading Dover 8-2 thanks to that 7-run second inning. Guy Donnelly, his first pitch, is fouled off by Steve Meserve, the right fielder. Rain really hasn't picked up that much, Kevin. We're just hoping that it stays away so we can get as many innings in as possible here at Spaulding Field.
It's just staying with that light drizzle there, a heavy drizzle. It's coming down steady, but nothing real thick to cause an obstruction in the ball game.
Bouncer, last year was a liner to first base by Meserve. And there's one out here in the 4th inning. Looked like it took a weird angle for the way it was hit, not just a wicked liner right at him. He had to come over to grab it to the left side.
He moved to his left to the right field foul line and was with it the whole way.
Pitch goes outside. This is Dana Estes. Walked with the bases loaded and drove in the Dover run in the 2nd inning. Wave also scored in the 3rd. Strike call to Estes. Well, this thing for Guy Donnelly to do for the Red Raiders is what? Basically just to throw strikes?
Just put it over and let his defense do the work right now. And
Dover batters are helping him, Kevin.
They are right there. You saw Estes go for look to be a little high and outside, and he's got out of a couple jams with forcing the Dover batters to chase some wild pitches.
Foul right back to the screen in front of us. Count holds at 1-2. That's got to be the type of thing that makes coaches grow old first. Not seeing a batter laying off that high pitches that are out of the strike zone, and that just helps the pitcher. And basically that's a pitch that you didn't earn on a strike, right? You throw it and you get some help. And
it's good. You see pitchers with control can get the opposing batters to chase some balls out of the strike zone.
Hits it up high in the air to center field. Donatello cruising in under it, makes the grab. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning for the Dover Green Wave. We go to the top of the order with the shortstop, Jeff Pierce. Wound up singling to lead the game off, singled to right field and grounded out in the 2nd inning. Played a very steady defense, as we said, as the whole deal of a team has this year. And basically the problem wasn't defense tonight. There was one error by Sawyer, but it was a lot of hits and some control problems by Tim Sawyer.
He threw a lot of pitches tonight when he was in the ball game, and only lasted 2 1/3 innings, I believe.
I believe that's what it was, 2 1/3
Spaulding
innings.
batted through in the 2nd inning, sending 11 batters to the plate, so he had some trouble in that 2nd inning.
Big blow in that inning was the bases loaded double to right center by Wayne Cropper. That drove in, as we said, the 3 runs, and really knocked him. It did knock him out of the box at that time.
That was the key hit, and
ground ball, second. Wisawati going over, makes the play, goes to first, and gets Pierce. Post play, closer than we might have thought. 1, 2, 3 inning for Guy Donnelly and Spaulding. So after 3.5 innings, halfway through, Spaulding 8, Dover 2.
Theater Video in Gonick and in Dover, featuring one of the largest selections of Nintendo games in the Seacoast. Over 70 different games to choose from. You too can catch the Nintendo craze by renting the player unit as well. Theater Video offers a wide selection of up-to-date movie rentals with special rates on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. VCR rentals are available, and if you rent 3 movies, you get the 4th free of charge. Theater Video also offers theater-sized candy, just like at the movies, as well as those irresistible Sinful Suckers. So come on down and rent as many Nintendo games and first-run movies as you want, and say hello to Morris and Mary Cody at Theater Video, with locations in Dover and Route 125 in Gonick.
Here's Wayne Cropper leading off the bottom of the 4th inning for the Spaulding High Red Raiders. As we mentioned, he had the big hit, that 3-run double, bases loaded double with 1 out. And a grounder down the 3rd baseline, went foul. That drove in 3 runs and gave Spaulding that 7-1 lead at the time. Actually gave him an 8-1 lead at the time, and it's 8-2 right now for the Red Raiders. It's Wayne Crawford, the catcher, Guy Donnelly, the pitcher, and the center fielder, Andy Donatello. Facing the relief pitcher for the Green Wave, John Blaine, here at Spaulding Field. Raiders coming down a little harder, as we noticed before we came on, than before, but still playable. Ground ball third, over to first, threw the ball in the dirt. And a good pickup by Sawyer for the out. So 1 out there. What about that play, Kevin? It seemed like he really strained to get it over from third, did Estes?
He did, and it came in the dirt, and Sawyer did a nice job of staying with the ball and picking up a big scoop. Kept his foot on the base, and Cropper's retired 5-3.
Here's the pitcher, Guy Donnelly. Rounded out to short and singled. Fouls it over near the third base dugout for strike 1. And it is coming down harder here at Spaulding Field than it was before. This is Barry Scanlon said, the lights give the impression that it's harder than it actually is, but you can tell it's coming down a little bit more, but still very playable here. Pitch going outside by Blaine. We understand after 4 1/2 it's an official ball game, and obviously the Raiders would certainly like to get to that point. And it's popped up by Donnelly in the infield. Dana Estes, the third baseman, will handle it easily for out number 2.
Both pitches settling down a little bit now as...
Well, the big inning, that 7-run inning, sometimes these games do that. They settle down. It's that one inning that sort of gives one team impetus, and the other team just has to fight from behind, and you can't do anything that you normally do, and sort of takes it out of you. Pitch fouled off.
Donnelly had a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the 4th, and now Blaine pitching for Dover has the first 2 batters here in the bottom of the 4th out.
And here's the pitch. 1-1 to Donatello. What do you think, Donnelly, going into the top of the 5th? Is he going to try to think, let's get these people out right away type of thing, pitch any differently, or should he pitch any differently?
I think he'll go as he just pitched the last inning, the top of the 4th. He just came right at him and made the Dover hitters hit the ball as Meserve. That little line drive to Callahan at first. Estes flew out to Donatello in center, and then Pierce grounded out to Wizardwadi at second. So I think he just wants to put the ball to the plate, let Dover hit the ball, and let his defense do the work for him.
3-1 now. Donatello ahead of the count against the pitcher for Dover, John Blaine. That would be the way to do it, I gather. Instead of just trying to pick corners and everything, just come down and let him hit it. Something on it. And it's ball 4 in the dirt. Donatello draws a walk. And we'll bring up Brian Callahan, the first baseman. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning here at rainy Spaulding Field. The rain has been coming down for, approximately probably half an hour. But it's held off long enough, hopefully long enough, to get this game in, get an official status on it anyway. Go over to first, not in time. Big 7-run second inning by the Red Raiders put them up 8-1, and it's now 8-2. Pitch swung on a miss by Callahan. Brian's a junior. I'm Pete Barker along with Kevin Conley. Paul Mannion's the hammerman at first with his rain slicker on. And Greg Brooks, home plate, throw down to second, and he's out. Call made by Frank Du Bois as the throw by Craig Burley to the second baseman, Chris Mangum. And that's the end of the inning. After 4 complete innings here at Spaulding Field, Spaulding 8, Dover 2.
For expert work in building and remodeling, it's Michael O'Keefe serving the greater Rochester area. Additions, garages, decks, replacement windows, roofing and siding. Michael O'Keefe and crew are fully insured to provide service that's safe and sure. No job is too big or small. New construction or remodeling, home repair or painting. Call night or day, it's Michael O'Keefe. He wants your business and will give you the best work in the Seacoast. Call him at 332-3470.
Here's Tim Sawyer here at the top of the 5th inning for the Dover High Green Wave. Now playing first base, was the starting pitcher, as we talked about before, for Dover. And it's a 1-1 count. Tim Sawyer, Mike Lawson, and Craig Burley be facing Guy Donnelly here in the 5th. And I guess once the thing is, once it gets through 4.5 innings, it's an official ball game if the home team is ahead. And we probably could still play a little bit longer than that. A swing and a miss. What a pitch. What by Guy Donnelly. Talking about, what did that look like? A good change-up curve.
Yeah, he came with a big roundhouse. He started it right at Sawyer, and it just broke over the plate. Sawyer just couldn't get a piece of the bat on the ball, and Donnelly gets his 4th K of the night.
And here's Mike Lawson. And the pitch down low. Lawson, the number 3 hitter in the lineup, lined to Pandelides in 3rd in the 1st, struck out swinging in the 3rd. Well, things have settled down here since that run, that productive inning for the Red Raiders. I was going to say the 7-run second inning. That's the difference in this ball game right now.
Spaulding would be down if it wasn't for that second inning, but they came up with a...
Pandelides at 3rd, fires to 1st, and out number 2 in the inning.
Came up with some key hits in that second inning, as I was saying, and also a couple breaks there with some walks and possible double play ball with the score tied, hit back to Sawyer, but it was thrown into center field. So they had a couple breaks in that second inning as well.
Once the breaks came their way, they were able to get the bases loaded and get that key hit by Cropper, as we said, which was the big hit of that inning.
It was. It drove in 3 runs, and then Donatello hit a sacrifice fly to score Cropper to make it an 8-2 ball game, and that's where we stand.
Burley taking a pitch for a ball. Some of those little things in baseball, like not getting an out or a double play or what have you, just hurt them right there. I don't know what Burley was thinking on that pitch. He's swung at it. Would you say, Kevin, not being critical here, but I think the Dover batters in some instances tonight have helped Guy Donnelly and given him an advantage, and then he can come in with what he wants to.
He has, and he's fallen behind a couple batters, Donnelly, and Dover's helped him out, but Burley's had his number tonight, hitting a double and scoring in the 1st, and then hitting a single, so he's 2 for 2 on the night on Donnelly, and he's been getting his rips up there against him.
And now he's behind in the count 1-2. Guy Donnelly looking to finish this 5th inning out. Goes outside and way out. Tried to catch him looking on a ball in the corner, but could not. 2-2 the count on Burley. If he should reach, John Blaine, the pitcher, will come to the plate. We're in the top of the 5th inning. We've got to that point. And a swing and a miss by Burley for strike 3. And we're through an official ball game after 4.5 innings. Spaulding 8, Dover 2.
Motherfuckers, quality musical instruments, and thrash audio, the full-service music center that everyone's talking about. Featuring up to 40% off on selected models of all brands, including Rod, Heritage, Schecter, Rickenbacker, and Johnson guitars, Akai keyboards and samplers, Simmons and Premier drums. We are New England's full-service music outlet. Motherfuckers and thrash audio, Rochester, New Hampshire. Let us help you make the magic.
We're at the bottom of the 5th inning here at Spaulding Field. Red Raiders up over the Dover Green Wave, 8-2. And for the Red Raiders, Brian Callahan, the first baseman, walked in the second, scored a run, and flied to right in the second also in that big run inning when Spaulding sent, what did you say, Kevin? It was 11
batters to the plate.
11 batters to the plate. That's actually only 2 times he's been up in the game in 1 inning.
He was up to bat last inning, but Donatello got caught stealing second base.
That's right.
For the 3rd out.
That's right. So he was left at the plate. Rain steady but not pounding or anything, and may come in for a strike call. So we're through the official part of it, and the key here is obviously for Spaulding to hold on if they want to improve their record to 5-6. John Blaine has done an excellent relief job for the Dover Green Wave tonight.
He has. He's come in and he stayed ahead of the Spaulding hitters, and that's what you want to do.
That was something that Tim Sawyer did not do. He had all sorts of problems getting behind on the hitters, and they were able to get some hits off of him. And speaking of hits, there's a drive that's going to be called by Steve Meserve in right field. 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th. Just one of those nights. That happens to the best of pitchers. We noticed that Frank $7.9 million Viola was 0-5 at the start of this year until he beat the Red Sox the other night.
Yeah.
It happens. Pitch up high. Oh, geez. How about if he doesn't like the Red Sox? Here's a delivery. Strike call. Roger Clemens almost makes as much. He's been pitching pretty well this season. Pitch up high. 2-1. So it seems to just sort of been a steady type rain now. It hasn't picked up much of intensity, Kevin, as it's popped up the infield. Making the catch in foul territory was Tim Sawyer, the first baseman. So this game has really moved along after that 30-minute second inning. It probably actually took more, counting both ends of it, because Dover also scored in that inning. But for Spaulding, they scored 7 runs. And 2 down in this inning is Jay Wisawati. Going out to right field. Meserve coming on, makes the grab. And a 1-2-3 inning for John Blaine. So after 5 complete innings of play here at Spaulding Field, Spaulding 8, Dover 2.
That's the sound of a popular restaurant. Popular because of the food. When you go out to eat, you want food that's fresh and delicious. And at Flanagan's Restaurant at the Tri-City Plaza, you get it. And plenty of it. Plus, Flanagan's gives super service with the most super waitresses. Always friendly and always courteous. For lunch or dinner, it's the best buy for your money. Open 7 days a week. It's everyone's choice for a casual treat. Flanagan's Restaurant, Tri-City Plaza in Somersworth.
We've reached, we should say, the top of the 6th inning. Still Spaulding 8 and Dover 2 here at the Spaulding Field as the rain is coming down, but certainly not a drenching, pelting rain. It held off. It's an official ball game as Spaulding leads at 8-2. And Guy Donnelly, who's gone all the way for the Red Raiders, faces his opposite number, John Blaine. Excellent relief job, and as we've reiterated, said before on this telecast, that except for that second inning, this would be an even Steven ball game.
It would be. They scored 7 runs in that inning, and Dover would actually have the lead, but as we said, Cropper capped it off with his 3-run double to right field. But Spaulding hit the ball well. They also had an error and 3 walks in that inning to help with the 7-run inning.
Raiders got 2 hits in the third, but since then have not been able to hit the ball off of Blaine.
No, and Donnelly's done a good job settling down. He's retired 8 in a row for Spaulding.
Given up, Donnelly gave up, or has given up, 7 hits, but they were through the first 3 innings. And after that 7th hit, he has, as you said, retired 8 in a row.
Falls behind Blaine 3-0 here.
Now at 3-1. We do appreciate Barry Scanlon keeping us alive here in the press box. Rain sort of takes a damper off this game, but it's been actually, outside of that, there's been some decent defensive plays and a lot of hitting, really, in this ball game tonight. Far cry, though, from what it was differently, as we said, the Red Raiders coming up with these 7 hits in that one big inning. And inside, ball 4 to John Blaine. That will bring Greg Morganis, the left fielder, to the plate. Morganis tonight reached on a bunt single in the second, flied to right in the third. We're in the 6th inning, nobody out, 1 on for the Dover Green Wave. The Green Wave trailing at 8-2. They scored a run in the second and the third, but have not been able to dent Guy Donnelly since then, the senior left-hander for the Red Raiders. Looking to add another win to this year's Raiders total. And a ball in the dirt, and Cropper does find it with some help from the bench. Bounded around on him a little, got away. Dover, as we said, 9-3 coming into this game. And Spaulding 4-6. So the Red Raiders looking to win 9 of 10 games to get into that tournament slot. And for Dover, I would think it's a case of just trying to work on certain things, trying to pick up as many wins as possible, because basically right now they're in 3rd place in the standings.
Spaulding, yeah, they want to try to improve on their record, and what they got to do is go about 6-2 in the second half of the season, and they're capable of doing it. But and this is where it all starts here against a Dover team that's been tough all year long. Dover, on the other hand, has had that 9-3 first half of the season, so they're looking to continue playing to the second half.
3-0 the count now is Donnelly. I wonder if cool weather has gotten to him, and now he seems to be falling behind the batters. And the pitch, and that's ball 4. So he's having trouble finding the plate now. Head coach Hugo Bolin of the Raiders coming out to check on Donnelly's status.
So one thing Spaulding doesn't want right now is some free passes to the bases with an 8-2 lead. They just want to make the Green Wave hitters hit the ball, put it in play, and let the defense do the job.
Now he's going to make a move right now. He talked with Donnelly, and probably Guy said to him that he just didn't have it anymore. Now Donnelly's going to come out of the ball game. Good, a little bit of an ovation down below for Donnelly, as he did a good job tonight. Pitched here into the 6th inning. Gave up 7 hits, but he retired 8 batters in a row before he walked these 2. Looked like maybe that was just the end of his pitching talents for tonight, Kevin.
Number 14, Dollison.
He's
Playing first base is number 17, Donnelly. Guy Donnelly at first, Brandon Dollison on the mound.
Okay, so Guy Donnelly will remain in the game at first base, and Brandon Gullison, the left-handed sophomore who was the loser in that 1-0 game to Dover, will be on the mound in relief for Spaulding. So Gullison is going to bat in Brian Callahan's spot. And Donnelly moves to first.
Coach Boland's going to see if Gullison can come in and just shut down Dover. As we said, Donnelly walked those first 2 leadoff batters for Dover here in the 6th inning, and it's the one thing that Spaulding doesn't want. They just want to keep Dover off the base pass right now and try to get a couple outs and wrap this one up. But Dover won't quit, and they drew a couple free passes, and now they're going to see if they can get something together and counteract that second inning, a 7-run second inning by Spaulding, and pull themselves back into this ball game.
Well, the first batter to be faced by Gullison will be Chris Mangum, the second baseman. Mangum 0 for 2 tonight, fouled out to Wayne Cropper, the catcher, in the second inning, struck out swinging in the third. So Gullison, the sophomore, 2 runners on, nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. He'll face Mangum, Steve Meserve, the right fielder, and Dana Estes, the third baseman. And we want to thank Mrs. Callahan for delivering coffee up here to the booth. Actually, it hasn't really gotten awfully cool here, Kevin. It's coming down the rain, but without the wind, it's fairly pleasant.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's been a steady mist all night long, but it hasn't seemed to trouble any of the batters for either team.
Gullison ahead of the count now, 1-2 as the pitch is fouled off. One thing about a lot of these Dover players, Mangum and Pierce played in the Babe Ruth League last year, but they also were varsity players too, so every little bit helps. So basically you're looking at a team, Dover, that has a lot of experienced players on it. Some different positions. Tim Sawyer, the first baseman, played last year. They have to be happy after having won 5 last year and coming up with 9 so far this year. Pitch inside, throw to first. Ooh, that could be tough, kind of, Kevin, throwing down there when you are having a 6-run lead. You don't want to put runners on second and third.
No, you don't want to give Dover any kind of breaks. The right fielder Wickstrom is doing a nice job of coming in to back up the play, so I'd almost think it was a called play, as he was in there pretty quick. But they really didn't have a shot at the guy on first.
Gullison's pitch, a swing and a miss for strike 3. One out here in the top of the 6th. We go to Steve Meserve, the right fielder. He's 0 for 2, struck out swinging in the 2nd. And he lined to first in the 4th. We're in the top of the 6th inning here at Spaulding Field. Spaulding 8, Dover 2. Second meeting of the season between these two rivals. It is a strike called. Good crowd on hand here, even though it's been raining for well over half the game. It got started a little bit early, and even though Mother Nature has come down, it hasn't come down in torrents.
No.
And this is an official ball game at this point, and it's fouled off to the right of the dugout for a strike. Gullison ahead at 0-2 to Meserve. Here's a delivery by Gullison, and it hits him. It hits him. Boy, he tried to... A curveball got away. He was trying to throw a breaking pitch inside, and that really got away.
Yeah, he started the breaking ball on the inside of the plate, and Meserve tried to turn out of the way, but just couldn't. Here you see the replay. Gullison comes with the inside breaking ball, and Meserve tried to get out of the way, but it hit him on the back.
Yeah, the left side there, up above the shoulder, and And the bases are loaded. And he was ahead on the count, too. 0-2, I believe. So here's Dana Estes, number 9 hitter in the lineup. He's the third baseman for the Green Wave. Walk with the bases loaded to drive in a run in the second. Fly to center in the fourth. It's a strike to Estes. Jeff Pierce is the on-deck hitter, the shortstop. Gullison trying to work himself out of trouble. Pitch, and is popped up in foul territory, first base side. Donnelly over there, and Donnelly went a little bit too far and could not make the grab. He went a little bit too far beyond the ball, Kevin, and it looked like a fairly easy play at one point.
He overran it and tried to come back towards the playing surface, but couldn't get there in time, and the ball dropped, and Estes has another life here with 1 out in the 6th.
That could have been out number 2. And again, though, Gullison ahead of the hitter, 0-2, which has to be encouraging for him, but he was ahead of Meserve and hit him. Is the delivery, and this is hit out into left field, and grabbing it is Bushway, and it's going to be a sacrifice fly. There'll be 2 down, but Dover will score its 3rd run of the game. As Blaine comes in on the sacrifice fly, now 8-3 Spaulding. That's the second out of the inning. And let's see what happens. We'll take another look at it.
You see the replay, the fly ball to left field. Bushway gets under it, and it looks like they had a play at home plate as it was cut off by third by Panelides. I think they had him at home if they would have went with it, but Panelides held on to it and kept him at first and second. Dover slices into that lead to make it 8-3.
There's usually a call for a cutoff play on there, and doesn't it come up to the point where the cutoff man has to determine whether he will let the throw go through?
Well, the catch is the one that makes the call whether to cut it or hold it or to throw it to first, second, or third. And I don't know if he didn't make a call there or if Panelides decided to hold on to it, but it didn't look like he had any signal to let it go or to make the throw home.
Here's Pierce, the shortstop, and fouls off the second pitch. 1-1 count. Maybe it's a little bit of conservatism too. You're up by 6 runs at the time, and you let one come in, but you don't want to all of a sudden have the throw go wide and have other people move up. Or the other runner move up. You got a runner on second with 2 outs now here in the 6th. Spaulding 8, Dover 3. Top of the 6th inning here at Spaulding Field. The pitch mounted back through the middle. Wisawati over for it. He's going to go to the bag, not in time. Tried to get Meserve, and he just couldn't get there in time to step on the bag, and the Dover rally is still alive here at Spaulding Field.
Give him a hit on that or fielder's choice?
Well, it's a fielder's choice for Pierce.
Here you see the replays. Not a particularly hard ground ball, and ooh, it was a close play there at second base. DuBois called him safe.
And what hurt with 2 outs there, it seemed. Well, here's the batter right now. Sawyer takes a strike. Keefe wasn't over there to take a soft toss from Wisawati either, Kevin. Is that a problem too? You noticed in the replay that he didn't get over there at all, so Wisawati the only choice he had was to try to get to the bag.
I think he was close enough to take it too. I think he made a wise decision to go over and take a second base. It was just one of those plays where you're just going to make that split-second decision, and he chose to take the second base, and it was a close play, but
as we said, on the other hand, it showed that Jamie Keefe wasn't over there to take the throw either, so
he was heading in that direction. I didn't see if he was there in time or what, but
now ground ball back through the middle. 1 run's going to score, and they're holding the runner at third. It's 8-4 Spaulding. But whatever, you're right. You really can't blame anybody on that. It was not that particularly hard hit ground ball. And the Dover rally continues here as now it's 8-4. Morgenis wound up scoring. And an RBI single up the middle for Sawyer. So a ground ball that might have ended the inning. And that's what happens when you put that baseball in play. You hit it somewhere, and any number of things can happen in the game of baseball.
A couple of these runs have come with 2 outs, too, so Dover's hanging tough here. They were down 8-2. They got a couple runs with 2 outs here in the 6th. Still have the bases loaded with 2 outs.
Here's Mike Lawson. Mike's had a tough night at the plate. He lined to third in the first, struck out swinging in the third, grounded to third in the 5th. So he's 0 for 3. We said he did hit the ball hard in that first inning. And he's capable of putting one out and tying this ball game, as is Burley. Pitch strike called. I think the biggest thing in this inning was Gollison getting ahead 0-2 on Meserve and then hitting him.
Yeah, that was the key point. He tried to come in with that inside curveball on him in the back. Both the runs scored were charged to...
And a ground ball, a line drive rather, and that ends the inning as Gollison gets out of it. And Dover comes up with 2 big runs to make it very interesting here, as we have an 8-4 game with Spaulding leading it going to the bottom of the 6th inning.
Bowlaway Lanes in Rochester, with leagues for men, women, couples, and children. Computerized league standings are available, as well as a nursery for morning leagues. Bowlaway Lanes features buddy bumpers for children to make their bowling more fun and instructive. Bring your child in and see how much they will enjoy themselves and are rewarded for their efforts. For the best in relaxing exercise, as well as friendly competition, stop by Bowlaway Lanes, 122 South Main Street in Rochester. It's fun for the whole family.
Here we are in the bottom of the 6th inning, 8-4, Spaulding leading Dover here at Spaulding Field. It's been raining, but it looks like they're going to get the game in, Kevin. Doesn't come down any harder than this. Has been steady, but not a steady pounding thing, as we've said. So, and the first 45 minutes or so of this game were played in decent weather.
They dragged the 2nd inning along. As we said, Spaulding sent 11 batters to the plate. And
the difference in this ball game.
It is. Dover also sent 8 batters to the plate on their side in the 2nd inning. So we had a half-hour 2nd inning there, which I thought maybe would bring some rain.
Wickstrom is the batter. With a correction, it's Bushway, the top of the order for the Red Raiders. It's Bushway as we go up. It's Paul Bushway, the left fielder, batting. Hits it to the opposite side. Pierce up with it and shot. The long throw to first. That wasn't in time. And a base hit for Bushway. Basically an infield hit by Bushway. And here's Pandelides. Just noticing, as Barry Scanlon was talking about it, that Dover has left unofficially 8 men on base tonight. They left the bases loaded in the second inning. 2 on in the 3rd, retired in order in the 4th and 5th, and left 3 on in the 6th. So they've had their opportunities, Kevin.
They have, and for Spaulding, Bushway and Pandelides have done a nice job at the top of the order, with Bushway reaching base all 4 times up. He has 3 hits. And Pandelides has reached 2 out of his 3 times up, so they've been on base 6 out of their 7 times, what is what you want from your 1st and 2nd hitters.
But yet the Raiders have not scored since the 2nd inning.
No, they haven't been able to drive them in, excluding that 2nd inning where they had 7 runs, but they've stranded a few runners here and lead 8-4.
And Pandelides with a 1-1 count, followed by the shortstop Jamie Keefe up high, and a check to see whether Pandelides had gone around. They say he didn't. It's 2-1. Certainly been an interesting game here at Spaulding Field. And the pitch goes outside. I think last year up here, I'm not sure, I think these 2 teams played in some rainy weather too. But it's been nice for us, as we're here in the dry press box, and we certainly appreciate the work the cameramen have put in tonight, Paul Mannion and Greg Brooks. And we want to thank Barry Scanlon again for keeping us loose in the press box. Remember, Barry, it isn't windy here, like at certain other fields we go to. Mm-hmm. Pitcher's fouled back. I said Panalides making those 2 key catches at third. He has a hit and a run scored in this game. Hit, a walk, and a strikeout. Ground ball going back up through the middle.
Another infield hit for Spaulding.
Went through the middle. Mangum stopped it, but could not make a play at second. So another infield hit.
Bushway was running on the pitch. Here we see the replay. Bushway's going on the pitch. Right up the middle. Dubois shows his quickness again as the base hump, and a nice stop there by Mangum. But there was just nothing he could do with it. He had to hold on to it.
Raiders looking for more insurance runs here in the bottom of the 6th inning here at Spaulding Field. They're leading at 8-4, but 7 of those runs came in the second, 1 in the first. Pitch goes in the dirt, gets away from Burley, and the runners will advance to second and third. Going to give that a wild pitch, I would say, was in the dirt by Blaine. So a big wild pitch, actually, at this point. And with Dover sort of gaining a little bit of momentum in the top of the 6th, Kevin, the Red Raiders would really like to put this one out of reach if such a thing is going to happen tonight.
A couple runs here would be nice for Bellson to come in with a 6-run lead into the last inning and just 3 outs away. And Coach Gordon for Dover doesn't want that to happen, so he's out there talking to Blaine on the mound, saying, let's go. We're within 4 runs. If we can hold them here, we'll see what we can do in the 7th. But Spaulding has the meat of their order with Keefe up and Cropper on deck.
I said Wayne Cropper's bases loaded double in the 2nd inning. Drove in the runs to make it 7-1. 1-1 the count now on Keefe. Jamie Keefe, as we said, starting freshman shortstop for the Red Raiders, getting an early taste of varsity action, fouls it off. Red Raiders having a lot of people getting involved in the Class L wars this season. Paul Katera, the plate umpire tonight, and Frank Du Bois on the bases. They want to do their games in cool weather. They certainly have their wish tonight. One and two, the pitch, chopped to the ground, 1 hop to shortstop. Pierce takes a look at first, throws to first. Here's the throw home, and it's not going to be in time. Out in front of the plate, and number 9 for the Raiders scores the 9th run of the game. Pierce took a look, which is the wise thing to do, but as soon as he threw it, we had the runner coming in, Bushway, from third base.
Pierce had to make that long throw there at short. As you can see, the rain coming down with Panalides standing on third. And drawing the long throw, Bushway hustled home to beat the throw from Sawyer. So now Keefe and Cropper, the 3 and 4 hitters, have 3 RBIs apiece for Spaulding, and Cropper can look to pick up his 4th with a runner on third and 1 out.
Keefe has managed to get them in, as mentioned here, without getting a hit, but doesn't matter. You hit the ball somewhere, something can happen.
That's right. He had to feel his choice in the first, scoring a run, and then a walk with the bases loaded in the second.
And the pitch is fouled off, and it does look like it's coming down a little bit. Actually, it looked like it let up for a while here, the rain, Kevin, and now it seems to be coming down a little bit faster. I'm sure the umpires would like to get the full 6.5 innings in on this game.
So with Spaulding right now with the 9-4 lead.
And flares one out to right field. Base hit, RBI for Wayne Cropper. His 4th of the night is 10 for Spaulding. John Panalides crosses the plate. 2 runs in this inning. And that just hurts right there. With 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Spaulding up 10-4 as it's been a steady rain here for the last hour and 15 minutes or so. Steady light mist, I guess we could call it.
And the pitcher, number 3, John Blaine, is gone to third base.
Okay, so Dana Estes has now come in as Blaine's duties on the mound are done for the night. Estes comes in from third, and Blaine will go over to replace him there. Jack Gordon, I think he doesn't anticipate anything, but it certainly looks good, you know, with a 9-3 record at this point, that you will be in the playoffs. But having talked to some of the Dover players, one in particular said they want to get that 10th win because they feel once they get the 10th win, that assures a playoff spot. But you've got plenty of time to get that. You don't want to get in a little skid and all of a sudden start panicking.
No, they would like to pick up that 10th win, but also they don't want to feel satisfied once they get that 10th win. They want to go on and try to win 14 or 15 ball games if it's possible, and maybe get a top seeding in the tournament.
We said they would come third coming in. Here's Guy Donnelly facing Dana Estes.
Now batting number 17, Guy Donnelly, first base.
Wayne Cropper on first. 2 runs in here for Spaulding in the bottom of the 6th. It's 10-4 Spaulding leading the Dover Green Wave. Pitch was a strike to Donnelly. He was the starting pitcher and went into the top of the 6th. Walked the first 2 batters and was relieved by Brandon Gullison, and Donnelly now is at first base. Here comes Estes' delivery. It's a ball.
Donnelly's got a hit and 3 times up in tonight's ball game.
The delivery hit back off the glove of Estes, and Mangum wanted to tag the runner, Cropper, but the set decided to go to first and was able to nip Donnelly for the out. Obvious intentions there, Kevin, of tagging the runner and trying to get the inning double play, but he couldn't get Cropper, so he decided to get the shore out at first.
It was a nice job going after Cropper going to the second, and made a wise decision not to try to throw it and get the force out at second, because it would have been too late, and he got Donnelly at first for the second out of the inning.
Fouled off over the press box for strike 1. Nobody seems to have left this game. We have the best seat in the house, don't we?
We're staying nice and dry up here.
Pitch, and it's grounded down to third, and he gets away from Blaine. And throw down, and Blaine went over to get it, and a high throw to the plate. Another bad throw coming in. The 11th run comes in Cropper for Spaulding, and over at third is the run of Donatello. All sorts of things happened over there. And we've got about 3 errors on that one sequence. 2 on the third baseman. Now let's take a replay on this.
There's the ground ball, and went over by the bag. A little trouble there. Might have skidded off the bag. Do you see the third base coach Wizawadi holding up Donnelly at third? Donatello wisely takes off to second, causes a high throw out to right, and from there Donnelly went on to score.
And now another run comes in on was that a wild pitch, I guess? A wild pitch. The ball got away from Burley. Well, I don't know, we're going to give at least 2 errors in that inning anyway. 3 errors. We're going to go 3 errors. 2 at third and 1 out the second baseman. And a wild pitch now brings in Spaulding's 12th run, as they've added 4 in this inning here in the bottom of the 6th. And a drive into the gap in left center. That's going to go all the way to the fence. Nobody's going to score on this one, as going into second, going to cruise in there with a double. was Brandon Gullison, the pitcher. So Spaulding coming up with its, I believe, 11th hit of the game. Somewhat difficult now to keep track of them, Kevin, but they've got in double digits for hits.
12 runs on the board as well.
That's the important thing, I think, but they have hit the ball. And Alan Wickstrom, the right fielder, is the hitter. Gullison coming up with that double to left center. Pitch outside. That play, I think, third really with the exchange of pitcher and third baseman, that really hurt over there. They just probably should have held the ball. Once they threw it around, everything went awry.
That's what happened, and with the wet ball and the wet surface, something like that can happen. So when Donatello took off a second, it caused a high throw, and then just all kinds of problems happened for Dover.
Ball in foul territory. Sawyer makes the catch, and that ends it. But Spaulding coming up with 4 more runs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And as we go to the top of the 7th, it's 12-4, Spaulding leading Dover.
Avis, a great name in care for cars, is now in Rochester. It's the new Avis Lube at 303 North Main Street. With the Avis We Try Harder team ready to give your car their 15-point quality car care treatment. They start with quality Citgo oil, a new filter and lube, then a top-to-bottom check of all vital fluids, plus a safety check of lights, tires, brake fluid, and more. At Avis Lube, doing it right is their job, and it only takes 10 minutes with no appointment. Avis Lube, 303 North Main Street in Rochester. Open daily, 8 to 6, Sundays, 10 to 5.
That was a field where it's been raining for the last hour and a half, but not badly as they've been able to get to this point, and hopefully we'll finish this game. And it'll be a big win for the Red Raiders if they come through with it, Kevin. Certainly a win that they badly need in their second of this week.
They're looking to get back up to the 500 level, and a win tonight will put them 1 game under 500, which isn't all that bad of a spot right now when you consider you still have half the season left, maybe turning around.
Well, they'll have officially, I think it's something like 7 games after this one, but have to win around 10, most likely to get a tournament spot. And the pitch is a ball. 2-1 the count. Craig Burley is a hitter for Dover. John Blaine and Greg Morginis will follow. Is the delivery up high for a ball. Gullison a little bit more of daylight, a lot more to work on. He's got an 8-run lead to work on here in the top of the 7th inning. When he came in relief with 2 on and nobody out, he had a 6-run lead. Certainly should help the sophomore. But a good piece of pitching by Guy Donnelly for a couple of innings after he gave up 7 hits early on. And that's ball 4 as Burley leads off and reaches with a base on balls. Here's John Blaine. Started out as the DH, did a very good job in relief until the 6th inning, and then is now playing third base. Here at Spaulding Field, which once we leave it will be drenched. Look out there in that infield. It just doesn't look too bad, the field, though, does it right now?
No, you really can't notice the rain. You can pick it up on the camera a little bit when they do a close-up of the batter or of the pitcher, but when you look at the field in the whole, you really can't tell that it's been raining too hard.
Pitch goes up high. Well, it's a ball and no strikes to Blaine. Gullison trying to wrap this one up in relief of Donnelly. He's leading at 12-4, and here's the pitch, ball 2. third graders probably getting nervous right now. They'd like to get out of this one. They do have a 12-4 lead. The delivery and a strike call caught the outside corner. Game's lasted about 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I was wrong. I honestly thought it was going to get rained out, but I'm certainly glad it didn't, Kevin.
Yeah, they, for Spaulding's sake, they're definitely glad they got it in, and both teams are glad to play the game.
Well, I know they wanted to play
it. Wasn't the type of ball game that Dover's capable of playing, but just a couple of innings really hurt them.
And they may get out of here just in time if it does so end soon. Down in the dirt, ball 4. Maybe a struggle here for a while as the rain seems to be picking up now, but nothing that is going to stop again. Wait a minute. All right, the count. There's the count 3-2. Okay, I didn't think it was. Now he's right. He's right. It is only 3-2 now. It wasn't ball 4. I didn't think so.
That's what it is.
Well, that's the old major league trick or something. You've seen that before. Now Blaine is getting a towel to wipe off the bat as it's getting wetter out there, of course, but luckily, as you said, it hasn't come down in torrents.
You know why he did that? He got Burley to second.
He's right. Frank Callahan here talking Burley's on second base. Certainly was a pop-up foul, and I think that's going to be out of play. And Wayne Cropper was looking for it, did not have any idea where it was, neither did we. It's way out of play. You're right, so Burley technically gets a stolen base then.
Does.
That's a nice way to pick up.
Kept the pants clean going down there, but it wasn't a planned play as...
No, it wasn't a planned play.
Blaine was trying to stay on first. He thought he was walked.
Well, it probably was. Maybe it wasn't a planned play in one way. I don't know. It's nice move, whatever it came out of it.
Well, if I'd be saving it for a closer ball game than trying to
I agree.
Move a player that
inside now, so the same thing happened. That's ball 4, legitimately.
Walks twice.
That's right. Please notate that he walked twice. Now here's Greg. Now wait a minute. Greg Morginus. Okay, Greg Morginus will bat, but Waterhouse. Waterhouse is going to return, so Blaine's out of the game. Waterhouse, who was never batted in this game.
Running for number 3, John Blaine.
He's back at first base. He was removed when
Sawyer
went to first after he got relieved of the mound by Blaine, who was the DH for Waterhouse.
Batting is number 2, Greg Morginus to the left field. Number 2, Morginus.
So here's Morginus. And this is still coming interesting. Even though the Raiders have that 12-4 lead, this appears to be a long way from over, doesn't it? It's a real struggle here in the rain.
They're 3 outs away, but they just can't. Gullison's having a little trouble putting the ball over the plate there. He picks up a strike, but he just got to stay ahead of the batters. Right now, he just doesn't want to give any more free passes, giving a couple walks out to lead the inning off, and that's definitely not what Spaulding wants.
It's a drive out in the gap, left center. That's going to make it 12-5. And maybe more. Now, I think they'll hold the runner up at third base to see if they do. Here's Keefe taking the throw, and they do. It's 12-5. And the throw getting away as Waterhouse thinks of coming down and stops as Donnelly goes over to recover it, first baseman. Oh, it's 12-5. Runners on second and third. Green Wave certainly won't quit. A double for Morginus and an RBI.
There you see the rain. It's Morginus. Who's that on third now? We got Waterhouse coming in for Blaine, was staying on third. And you can see the rain coming down a little bit harder than it has been most of the night.
Well, if this game would end shortly, we can thank everything, I think, of getting it over with. We have gone here to the top of the seventh inning here at Spaulding Field. Green Wave, of course, the visiting team, but you got to give the Green Wave a lot of credit. They certainly haven't given up here in this ball game.
No, they've kept battling, and Spaulding pitchers have had a little bit of trouble with their control. They've looked good at times, but then they walk a couple in a row, and now Ellison's trying to pitch his way out of a little jam he has with a 12-5 lead and second and third, no outs.
Here's Mangum. Chris Mangum, the second baseman, struck out twice, fouled to the catcher, struck out his last 2 times at bat. Count is even at 1-1. So with the run in and the runners on second and third, nobody out here, pitch inside. Just speculating up here on who might come in as another pitcher if they need him. We'll have to find out. High ball to center field. Donatello going back. He's going to make the grab. And the throw comes in, gets away from Keefe at shortstop, and no further advancement. A run does score. Waterhouse comes in on the sacrifice fly to center. And that was by Chris Mangum. So it's now 12-6. Runner on second, 1 out. That first out, getting that first out, so important, isn't it, Kevin?
It is.
Just relieves the pitcher.